Destiny is a game series that has been around since 2014, and we, all 5 of us here, have been around since its inception. We have Cole Wood over here.
I remember pre-ordering the game at Best Buy.
We have TJ.
I remember pre-ordering it at GameStop.
We have Dom.
I remember playing the beta in GameStop.
They had it in game. What?
Yeah, you get to play it.
Huh. We have Tyler.
Not only do I remember pre-ordering it, but I also wasted my money on the collector's book.
Oh, like so many.
And I have also been around since the beta. So we love the world of Destiny. It has had its ups. It's had its downs. Very, very low lows.
It's really been everywhere in between.
It really has. But, I mean, you kind of expect that for a game series that's been around for, 6 years. So,
We've seen it all.
To an extent. Seasons is a new concept introduced by Bungie with the release of Shadowkeep. And while it could very well be something that is really good, it requires a lot of improvement. And the 5 of us here have things that we think should definitely be expanded upon. For the record, we do know that there is a lot of things have been addressed by Bungie, and we hope that they're true to their word and they do show up within Season 11 and the fall expansion. So without further ado, let's get into those topics. I think one of the biggest problems of Seasons in general is the pacing behind it. We have a storyline, and it's only addressed every couple weeks or so, and then they're just keep at it or something, and eventually you'll get a cutscene maybe.
No,
now, are you talking about the roadmap?
Not necessarily the roadmap. I mean the theme itself. For example, for this past season, Season of the Worthy.
Yeah.
The whole thing is the Almighty's crashing down. We had the cutscene in the beginning that started it all, and then it was bunkers, public event, and then a few weeks later, we finally have Zavala and Rasputin talking, and then we see the pyramid ships, and we get that doomsday calendar. That shouldn't happen. I think at least for the next season or the fall expansion, I think it should be paced out to at least a mission a week. At least a mission a week to propel the story. I don't think you should let the game stagnate during that seasonal period, because then people lose interest.
The only time we got new dialogue is when a new Seraph Tower came out.
Exactly.
And that was every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And
this heavily differs from Destiny 1 when they would just bulk release all the missions.
Yeah, and I mean bulk release would be cool and all, but I also like the idea that they represent, that we're the ones that are making the story propel.
Yeah.
I like that if they actually acted on it more. If, because I remember one time it said next week at next week in Destiny, keep doing events. That was it. That was all we got. We didn't get any.
Keep at it, Guardian.
We didn't get additional dialogue.
Keep
Exactly.
doing bounties.
Exactly. That is the thing that annoys me. If it was every week we did something I don't know, if it was an actual mission. Similar to, we had that for Season of Dawn. We had missions, I wouldn't say every single week, but we had a quest line. We had a cutscene. We had a whole mission with Saint 14, and he was using his defender bubble, and you were helping him kill all the Fallen. Then we had the whole Corridors of Time thing, and the whole Bastion quest. That was cool. If we got that this season, I feel like people wouldn't be as pissed off because we had something to do. Everyone came together for Corridors of Time to try and figure it out and decipher and get Bastion and all that stuff. And that was really cool. But this one, we've only gotten the base cutscene that started the whole thing. Then we had Anna Bray talk the next week about her and Rasputin, and she wished her Rasputin and Zavala would get along. And then 2 weeks later, we get Zavala going, the darkness is coming and you're afraid to lose again. Like, from here on out, the Vanguard and the Warmind were working together. Nothing. And then now it's the end of the season.
And we don't really know how we're propelling forward from this either.
No, and I don't think there should be that period of just dead air. It kind of kills it, because then it doesn't really feel much like a threat, does it?
The only threat that we have is that Doomsday Clock. It's like, hey, they're getting closer and closer.
That's cool, because it's kind of like that's like a different thing.
But that's a visual thing. Like, every week I'll go on, go to the moon bunker and say, hey, they got a little closer this week.
Exactly.
I'll wait next week, see how close they get next week.
That's cool. Having, like, a secondary, like, kind of, wouldn't say story, but like a secondary threat.
Yeah.
Where you see it, that doesn't tie in, but it's there. That's cool.
I forgot about the Almighty, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have forgotten about that. And I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the execution of the season. We shouldn't have... First off, we shouldn't have had an event about Guardian games. Aside from the quality of
You
the
didn't
event.
like Guardian games?
You didn't?
I didn't like Guardian games at all.
What?
That being
Why?
said...
You won.
Yeah.
Mr. Only Titan.
You're the one who
Stupid
played every
Titan.
single
With
day.
the statue,
dude.
like, this big.
In the corner.
Brendan,
Yeah.
you grinded it every day. How could you not love it?
I wanted heir apparent, okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
but you still
'cause
grind
it's
it
a
after
great-
air.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I wanted bright dust. But it's not
Well,
like I'm
that's-
happy about it.
That is far besides the point.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been an event as this giant ship was hurling towards the city about... So, Evil Levante just shows up and sees the Almighty showing up, and she's just like, so is now a good time to have a little friendly competition? Like, we should do an event, right? Can I set up the tower and fun little confetti?
The world's ending soon. I think I'm going to have a little event to celebrate it. Just make sure everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I really think that Forsaken got the most story elements right.
Oh, yeah.
With how the Dreaming City evolved
Well,
every
that
week.
was cool.
Because it also tied into just game mechanics in general, like reset.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why we're doing the same thing
Yeah.
every week. Why us as gamers are going back.
yeah.
For
to
once, it didn't
keep
feel
playing the same.
futile to just keep playing.
Yeah, it was cool knowing that basically Sabathan made it. It was like this endless
And
loop.
even when it wasn't useful, I still went to the Dreaming City and did my stuff. But as soon as I
Exactly.
stopped making it powerful gear after with the new season, I'm like, okay, I guess all of us Guardians are just letting the Dreaming City go now.
Well, yeah.
It didn't amount to anything. Like, it was all great, but there was no ending to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate that because we had such a strong start. You beat the raid, and Riven's like, I'm so happy. I can't wait until you guys see, the last wish that I granted. And you're like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? And then magically, boom, curse cycle. And then the third week in, all of a sudden we get a dungeon? Like, that was cool.
I hope they keep making the dungeons.
I think dungeons are cool. I love
Dungeons are pretty epic.
They are. I
I
really
would-
like Pit of Heresy. I love Shattered Throne.
I would actually really prefer they keep... Like, I would rather have another dungeon every single season than
Like a
I
seasonal
would
themed dungeon,
another six-man activity that's just a menagerie ripoff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing, though. These menagerie,
Because-
like rip-offs, so to speak, they take away the most appealing aspect, which was getting the gear you wanted. I mean, yes,
They
Sundial...
found the formula.
They did.
Menagerie was it.
And they used it for one season.
And then, yeah.
The only reason it's relevant right now is because people want Armor 2.0 stats. So they
Yeah.
go in and
or
they
just
do it.
for rolling a beloved.
Well, yeah, that too. Like I've done it.
And then
this
they
past
took away
season,
the fun part of farming it.
Exactly. And
With the chest
With the chest-
glitch.
yeah.
I'm doing air quotes. You can't see.
It's
Yeah.
it's not a glitch, it's a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I really hope that they bring back the menagerie as like a pinnacle thing. I do know that they said they want to bring back like Last Wish and stuff as a pinnacle thing, so we actually have more pinnacle things to do, because believe it or not, if they bring back old stuff, we don't hate that. If you make it relevant, we don't hate it. You
Even if
make-
it's just a +1 or +2.
Age of Triumph was that. They brought back everything.
And then it won't be
And everyone
a waste
loved
of
it.
space.
Exactly.
Like, they won't have to get rid of so many different things.
Exactly.
I wish
So-
that they would get rid of some stuff. I'm tired of waiting 5 10 minutes for my game to load me into
Well, not only that,
Titan. I
if
mean, it's
they're
ridiculous.
not
Well, it's
planning
a
on
lot of
working on Destiny
useless
3,
things,
and they're
too.
going to
Alright.
keep evolving Destiny 2, then they're, like they said, they already have to choose between what Gambit's going to go.
They should just get rid of Reckoning.
Just get rid of Gambit in general.
They should get rid of Reckoning and regular Gambit.
You
just
think-
have Gambit Prime.
Whoa, whoa,
But
whoa,
what?
whoa.
Then put the Reckoning drops
Whoa.
inside Gambit?
Yeah. I mean, they basically, technically kind of do that anyway.
You say get rid of Gambit Prime? Or,
No,
I'm sorry,
no,
you
no.
say get rid of Gambit and keep Gambit Prime?
I
Yeah, I
prefer
think
Gambit
Gambit
Prime.
Prime's
It's a
better.
lot quicker, and I don't like the.
But since the
Maybe
new
it's been a while, but I feel like they
the
made
new
Gambit
change,
easier.
They did make
the
it a
new
sudden death thing.
Gambit changes are really nice with the sudden death. I feel like it's so much quicker.
That's if it's a time.
It's
But then there's
sudden
some
death, and then
there's
they
some
s-
Gambit bounties where it's like do 10 Prime Evils or whatever, and it's like, well, you get that easier done in Gambit Prime, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just
I'm a
like
big
it
fan
'cause
of
it's quicker.
regular Gambit now.
Because I just went on like a Gambit spree last night, and the changes that they made actually made me want to keep playing matches. Besides the fact that I would keep getting teammates that would just leave whenever we got a loss.
Don't even get me started
That
on
sounds
people
about
leaving,
right.
because that's... I mean, it's nothing that Bungie can do. It's just right now the player base just leaves whenever. Like,
Yeah.
I've been playing solo comp, and with Dom as my witness, every time I was in a match, I'd have one teammate leave, no matter what. We would be winning, and they'd leave. And I'm like, okay, cool. Screw the rest of us over.
Maybe they're just getting error codes.
That is also a thing.
No.
It's getting beaver.
I was playing Trials and
I
we
haven't
were
had
on our
that
third
problem,
win.
though. Error code Beaver.
I don't know.
I'm getting a lot more on PC. Also, we should mention that we're all on consoles, so loading times are just in general slower.
Well, yeah, but that's not really a thing to improve seasons with.
Well, yeah.
That's just like a quality of life thing. But speaking of pacing in general, having stuff in between would help, and that was kind of a problem that you would like to address, TJ, where it was the exotics in general having like
You don't
having
like
things
exotics?
to actually
Oh.
pursue.
Exotics.
Wait, what are you telling me is wrong with exotics?
Cole?
What?
When was the last good exotic quest?
I mean, 0 Hour wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you remember
Okay,
when Zero
that
Hour
was
came
how
out?
long ago?
I don't remember how long 0
Black
Hour.
Armory. That came out with
Zero.
Black Armory.
Wait, that was Black Armory?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And also, Bad Juju was the correct answer.
Yeah, Bad Juju was
Bad
the last.
Juju.
Season of Opulence.
Season of yeah,
Which
yeah.
I still think is one of Destiny 2's highest moments.
Bastion doesn't count.
Whoa, that's true though. Bastions was cool
I didn't do
Bastion
it.
upset
I
so
didn't-
many people. Though.
I didn't play that.
because it was a
season.
fusion. Like, I don't know.
Is that
I
the
don't
Twilight
think it was
Gap one?
because it was just a fusion.
Oh, Devil's Room was a
It's-
good one.
I was
No.
gonna say Twilight Gap when you had the dialogue between Shax and who was it?
That's
Shax and Saint.
That's
Insane.
really cool and all, but that was it.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
dialogue.
it was more
what was
along-
the actual quest steps aside from dialogue?
I forget what Devil's
Are
Room
we still
was.
talking about-
Devil's Room was a while ago. I don't remember what the quest steps were.
don't
Well, I guess that's the problem. They weren't memorable.
They weren't
But
memorable.
Bastion was an exception though, because we went
I
through
liked
the
that
corridors
one.
of time, and then we found our tomb and heard Saint saying that
Our
we were,
memorial.
we're a hero and had the greatest sacrifice, and then we got the gun.
Farming lore like 14 to 16 times was fun.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun. Unless you're being
I'm
sarcastic.
being really sarcastic.
was it
You just had to
was
put
it
in different.
you and me and Nate, or you weren't even with us,
Boy.
right?
No, it might, but it was Nate. Yeah,
Because Nate had the whole chart, and then we just ran.
And
through.
then like
that was
two
fine.
two times we got glitched.
Well, you got
and
glitched.
I got glitched. I
You
guess
fell
we all
through,
just
like,
went
the
through the
world or
portal.
something.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not fun.
But yeah, no, that
Anything for my lore.
exotics. I also think another problem is not a lot of them are memorable.
They really aren't.
The only exceptions to that are Bastion. And personally, it wasn't a quest, but I still really love Heir Apparent. Heir Apparents are really fun exotic to use, and it is actually really useful. It's great for act control, especially if you're a Titan and have Actium War Rig, you're not going to reload. And if you're a Hunter, all you have to do is dodge, and you have it.
Yeah,
Whoa,
go
who
wa-
uses marksman dodge?
It's the better dodge.
Psh, I use the dodge for my melee.
Okay, well, yeah, it depends on your loadout, I guess.
Also, your play style. I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
That stuff too. Yeah.
Go Warlock.
But I get what you mean though, because I mean, Heir Apparent was literally just bounties.
Yup.
I spent so much time
Triumphs.
getting.
I did
Heir
not play
Apparent.
Guardian games.
You shouldn't have.
Well, I was a hunter, so.
Like I
Hey, at least you were on the board.
Titan, it was so
We got
much
one.
easier for Titans.
I mean, yeah, but I don't really think the laurels were the reason why people weren't playing. Like,
Well, you
laurel
needed
grind.
laurels to
No, I know.
complete
I'm
the-
saying the laurel grind I don't think was the reason why people didn't want to play. I think it was because they decided to make an entire event devoted to bounties and
It was
lock an
about-
exotic behind it.
Well, yeah.
That's the problem.
It's interesting too because Bungie has said that they know that bounties are like a problem in the Destiny universe, and then they designed so many things around them.
They designed this season especially around him a
Yeah.
lot. Like, it was fine last season because we had the Empyrean Foundation that auto-completed bounties. That was fine. And, like, we worked up to that point, and we
Which
had...
was ultimately funner.
It was.
as
You just
as
sat
a
in the tower and
season.
just kept spamming A and got a bunch of, like, weapons, and it was fun. It was kind of enjoyable.
But
It was
when you
like,
phrase it like that, just spamming A.
well, yeah.
And then we unlocked the legendary
Well, yeah, but it was
Trials
still
of
a grind to get
Osiris.
those materials
God, no.
to being
Don't
able
talk
to
about
buy
Trials,
the
Tom, please.
what was that exotic material called
In what? Ascendant shards? Wait, what are you talking about?
for the Empyrean Foundation?
Oh, I don't remember.
The thing you buy, the exotic thing, so you could actually
Increase your
the
bounties?
infused things. I forget what
It was... I thought it was increasing your bounty count. I don't remember what... It's just kind of been a little bit since Season of Dawn.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily
I don't know about
remember.
that, but I do know that the fact that, like, for Shax and for the Drifter and for Zavala and for the Gunsmith and for so many other people that sell bounties, like, you just have to do 8 of them and they're like, okay, here's a powerful gear tier 1. And they're pretty simple bounties, but then that makes me wonder why it's not just, like, challenges
Like we used to have.
that you just
back in D-
complete
vanilla
and,
D2.
and you don't have to, like, go and buy the bounty and, oh no, I forgot one. That means
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to take 10 minutes to load back into orbit, to load
That's
back
also
into the
something
tower.
they said that
They are,
that
but-
they're gonna try. They said probably not next season, but like fall expansion, maybe a little bit after. Thinking seasons 12, 13, they said that they're gonna try to work away bounties into your director.
Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, that would genuinely solve so much of my time just
Yeah,
putzing around the director.
tower would get a little quiet.
Yeah,
It'll
tell
be
it to
as
visit the farm.
useless as the
I was
farm.
gonna say as long as
The farm.
Right. And yeah, the exotics. There's too many of them,
And most of
I'm
them
sorry, what?
and most of
either
them are
suck
pointless.
or just not special at all.
especially
Yeah.
the armor pieces, or at least for the warlocks, the armor pieces we got in like the last 3 seasons are like nothing special.
No, they're nothing, and they don't even look that cool. They're
I mean, like
they feel very.
our new boots were like Dawnblade.
They
every
just
kill
feel
with
like
Dawnblade
fancier
grants
legendaries.
like a rift, but even
It
then
looked like
it's like
socks.
I think Bungie's scared to add another thing that's going to wreck the sandbox as much
Well-
as all the reload stuff did. All the reloads, super energy stuff. I mean, that's when exotics were fun to have.
I don't even.
and that's
I-
when the
Populous.
game
As a warlock,
was
I don't really even
un-
use an exotic in my slot anymore after they nerfed
Really?
factions.
I don't even use exotics anymore, unless it's
Because
Crucible.
I just base
our
I just
melee
base it
range
off
is
look,
ass.
and there's nothing that I mean.
That's kind of sad. I mean, the whole appeal of exotics is to
to
Yeah,
feel
I use-
powerful.
yeah.
I mean, like in Crucible, I guess I can go like Ophidian aspect for melee range.
but Crucible's
and stuff
different,
like
though.
that.
That's
Yeah,
That's
Crucible's
but like
just
when
not
I
a beast.
do on a raid, I just basically put on my best stat armor or whatever I think looks,
yeah. The only like exotic in recent memory that the 2 exotics in recent memory that like I feel are genuinely powerful or fun to use is Bastion and Heir Apparent. That's it. I like when I'm soloing Pit of Heresy and I have Heir Apparent and I'm getting surrounded by a bunch of Thrall. I'm like, oh boy, it's so fun. How is it not?
Was Fourth Horseman good? I never finished that quest.
Re-
It
It's
was
fourth-
amazing.
fourth
Got it,
It
never
was
equipped it.
god tier. I bought the ornament for it.
Okay, then why isn't
It's trash.
He's lying.
He's
Oh.
lying.
I was gonna say it's about as good as it,
wa-
was in D1.
In D1, it was good
okay.
because it had final round at least.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
it was a pointless.
They
it was
could
a
have brought
pointless
back
exotic.
any other exotic.
They could have
shotgun.
brought back like
It's a
Dragon's
universal
Breath.
Or
remote.
make a new one.
It does
That too.
damage. It does damage.
And I really, I think there's just too many exotics.
Yeah, like remember when Merciless was good?
Yeah.
It hasn't been good since the launch.
Oh, I don't care.
I
About
feel like
that.
it was good at one point in between but like
It
wasn't.
was never
Well, I
like,
like
hey, use this over other things.
I
It's
like that
okay,
certain
it's the only
exotics-
thing you have.
Yeah.
I like that certain exotics have their time in the limelight and then someone else takes it.
I think
Something
that-
else takes
Yeah,
it.
but
That's
then
fine.
it only happens because Bungie nerfs it into like now
If-
it's normal.
If
it's
there
like
was a middle
average.
ground where it's still a viable option, like right
Well,
now,
like everything's a viable option. That's the thing.
what do you don't want it to be a viable option?
I'm saying that like everything's on like the same level. Exotics and legendaries, they're on the same level pretty much.
Maybe there'll be
Save
like,
for like Xenophage, maybe just because it's a high damage weapon.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that does make
And
sense.
swords, because they're doing something else right now.
Yeah, swords, but Whirlwind Guard are a little.
maybe
interesting.
Bungie will introduce more glitches like Telesto orbs counting for blind will,
No,
and then we
no.
get to use old exotics.
Please no,
Let's-
not Telesto.
let's-
Just take it out of the game.
Let's be honest. Some
don't know how to
pinnacle
work it.
weapons are pretty much exotics.
They're fun.
Yeah, but they're legendaries. That's
because
fine.
They're
though.
legendaries and they're stronger than
Like-
most exotics.
Provoker's Icebreaker.
Wow.
Provoker is not.
not
ice-
Icebreaker.
It's dumbed down Icebreaker.
It's like
It's
not
very,
even
it's
close.
very similar. Come on.
It's-
It's
You
like
get-
only
yeah.
if you're missing.
yeah, only if
Well,
you,
yeah,
and
that-
you
so
only
it's-
start with 2 shots.
yeah,
yeah.
and if you
just
shoot,
like D1.
yeah, if you shoot all
D1
more than one shot
0.
and you're whatever, then you don't get it back at
Well,
all.
yeah, I know.
Wait,
That's
that
it's the
one
closest thing to
is-
Icebreaker we have.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
think
closest thing.
I don't think we need Icebreaker. Stop bringing back old exotics.
But
Make new
Hawkmoon.
ones
But
from here on out.
but Galahorn.
But
I swear to God, if they bring back Galahorn,
but all I'm saying
With
is that
raise lighter, Brendan.
some of the pinnacles.
I would
they
like
made-
some exotic swords back.
that's different because we haven't had any good swords.
Those are
Black
talking
Talon.
about
Ooh,
Wordline
wow.
0 is really good for speedrunning.
Wow.
Don't
so
get
cool.
him onto
Cool to
that.
look at.
used to be good
No.
for speed.
Okay.
All
Whoa.
right,
Okay.
they nerfed it.
Going under the
Speedrunning is
map in black
different.
armor.
Glitching for a speed run and saying that's, I don't think that requires
Mario
skill at all. That's no
64.
talent. Yeah, glitchless runs are fine. I have respect for those. It's the ones that are like, yeah, we just skip the entire raid by going out of the stratosphere and then we make it to the final boss and we kill him. Wow, how skilled.
It's easy. We swing a few times and then we're there. It's really
Yeah.
quite simple.
So I definitely think that exotics should entirely be actually memorable to get. We've had a few exceptions over the couple seasons we've had, but it still doesn't sum up for most of them. And that is unfortunate. So either we get fewer exotics, and the exotics we do get are memorable, or, I don't know, they do something where they just make every mission memorable. But that's the thing, though.
You guys are talking a lot about like the memorability of some things, and while I agree that I want the game that I play to be memorable, I think it's a lot more about the low incentive to get the things.
Yeah.
Like they're not giving you. It's not that they're not memorable. It's that there's no reason to complete it.
Pretty much, it's like you can pretty much use a loadout from Opulence or earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wait
Well,
earlier,
until
that, you're still
sunsetting.
gonna be. Well, yeah, but then they're just gonna.
Sunset. Wait, sunsetting. What's
Yeah, that was the thing I
sunsetting?
told you about where
Oh.
your gear after
Oh,
years
the
and
weapon
it-
retirement.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
But it's
Which-
also gear
Then
retirement.
it's just gonna
And
be
gear
a
retirement.
cycle of it. It's gonna be like, oh hey, here's this loadout that's on the cusp of being sunsetting. That's still just as good as the newest stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
And
with
like,
it.
yeah, sure, you'll.
I think it'll be nice
switch
pushing
your
a new
loadout
meta
bit.
for every season instead of
Yeah.
having the broken same old
the
stuff.
same,
still
going
happens
on.
the same
with-
spare rations every season.
I mean,
Still
still,
happens.
not bad.
I think sunsetting will be good. We had it
If
when,
they do it right.
Yeah, if they do it right. But like Taken King did it, and I like obviously people were upset, but I don't. Think,
Okay, well, the Destiny community has a bunch of crybabies in it. So
Well, now they do.
a lot more now, yes.
Because now
I think it always did.
I just think it's more vocal now because the
it's-
game is free to play.
No, it's always been vocal. It's just.
Well, we've always been vocal as a community, but then Destiny 2 did bring in a lot more casual players since that's who they were catering
Well, that's what I was
to.
going to say. I
And
think
now
we're
it's
a lot more
free to
vocal
play.
now because we've seen
Well, yes.
where they started and it was bad, and well, like with D1,
Yeah.
and then Taken King showed us how a Destiny game should be,
What it could be.
what it could be,
it's like,
and then Destiny 2
House of
happened,
Wolves was pretty
vanilla,
good, but hey.
and it was like
Yeah.
yeah, this is good, but you're like he said, they were getting a lot more to the casual players.
Yes.
So it's like we're a lot more vocal now because they've kind of been on a slight trend of slightly fucking up and it not being up to expectations when they know what the game could be. They've done it before.
Yeah.
But that's also the hard part is you've set the bar. How do you exceed that every time?
Especially
It's
without
not
the
always
help of
going to be
Activision.
as exactly.
I mean, I know
don't-
that Activision was hindering them in a lot of ways, but the money was helpful.
I don't
But it
think
was pretty nice.
I don't think they need to exceed it every season. I
At
just
least
think
stay
they need
around it.
at least maintain like the sense of enjoyment that we had. Like Opulence maintained the game's lifespan. We had that season had pinnacle weapons that are really memorable and are still used today. We had a really cool exotic mission for Bad Juju. We had this really cool tribute hall that we
Wasted
built.
all our materials on.
Yes, and
What's this wasted nonsense?
But it led
that
to-
was worth it. We got bad juju.
well, that's valid. It did lead
It's
to
not used
that
much
thing. At least
anymore, though.
Yeah,
it,
but like mission cool.
but at least it was led. It would led to something. Like that was cool. And then we had a raid, and the raid. Well, you don't like the beginning at all. I don't even think you
It's
do.
boring.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't really see it as boring. It's just like every other raid. It's no different than like the totem section of King's Fall, or
What's wrong with the totem section of
Oracles.
King's Fall?
I'm not saying there's a problem with it.
Or oracles.
Or yeah, it's. I
Oracles-
don't have a problem with that.
Oracles, the first phase is super long because you have to go through every single one of them, and if you die at any point, especially if you're playing on hard mode or whatever, then you have
Yeah.
to restart.
I
Oh,
just
hard mode.
Ooh, I
I
miss
just-
hard mode.
I just think that if they made the seasons a little bit more like Opulence, I don't want to raid every 3 months. That's just stupid. But I just adding enough content, even if you trickle feed us the right way instead of
Even Dawn, like Dawn had a good.
yeah, Dawn was
replayable
good.
system.
Dawn because you have the sundial and like the bosses changed. I mean, not like too much, but they did change. And then we had an ultimate boss at the end that had the powers of all three. And then we had the Imperium Foundation. So there were a lot of that was a well-fed season. This season it
Sundial,
feels like
I feel like was weak in the beginning, but towards the end of the season when it just stayed that one boss with all the scions,
yeah.
it
was a
became
good
really
payoff.
fun. I love just replaying the Sundial.
Yeah,
just
it was
for
fun.
that. And
Wish I
had
could
to
play it.
and I farmed lore for that.
Well, okay. I get the whole like getting different gear and stuff, but I disagree with the activities. I don't think the activities should stay. Because then the game
They've
would just
kept
be way
more
too
trash activities.
It'd be way too bloated. Because if that was the case, they should keep Vex Offensive and Sundial, and then that's like the same exact thing. You know what I mean?
Well, to be
It just
fair.
makes it bloated.
Vex Offensive
Yeah, I
had to
get
go,
it.
so that's a bit different. But
The only
so
reason
did
I want
Sundial,
it is
because
because
Osiris isn't watching over the Infinite
I didn't get
Forest
the
right
lore
now.
for Vex Offensive.
Oh no.
And so now I'm just waiting for however they're gonna introduce the lore.
I'm
that we
surprised they
missed.
didn't just convert it to like Garden. Like,
Maybe they did have a new stone.
No,
Oh.
we've done Garden.
yeah, we've done Garden a few
Yeah,
times now.
but like maybe you just weren't lucky.
I actually think that the
Then we're
lore
all
could be
lucky.
used to do a lot of the things that you guys are talking about, of like it trickle feeding and still feeling like we have content. I think that if they changed the way that they fed us the lore, that it could be like getting new story material.
Well, that's the
But
thing
not
too.
all
If you're not a
people
lore
like
fan,
TJ,
well, okay.
who
If you're
don't
not,
go out of their way to like look into the lore at all.
if
So, 'cause
you're not a
that's
lore
always
fan,
been a complaint from D1. It's like, oh, Grimoire, we have to go. I mean, now it's in game, so that's even better. But people before were like, oh, I have to use an external source to go look at the story that should have been in the game in the first place.
I just think they should visualize the lore more, and that's kind of what you
Like the Twilight Gate
That's what
mission.
you want too.
speaking of which, that's like my main topic.
It is.
Yeah, that was a great segue.
It was until you
Yeah, thanks
called
for
it
pointing
out.
it out.
Thanks for
Dom.
making it awkward.
You're welcome. That's my job here. Thank you. I want more Season of Dawns. I thought that did it really well. The only thing that I think should have been changed is in Dawn, they shouldn't have shown that Saint 14 comes back. I would have liked us to figure that out.
Well, it's like the same thing with
Yeah.
Cade dying. Like, they shouldn't have showed that, but it still got us excited anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have a selling point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
You have to have a
Just
selling point in
marketing.
some way.
Yeah. But yeah, I want more stuff like that where this season the only stuff pertaining to lore we got was at the very end with the
Rasputin and Felwinter.
yeah, that. Nothing before that had any lore. I don't think there was even a new lore book.
No, there wasn't. Like, Season of Dawn, we got Pigeon in the Phoenix, which still has some of my favorite lore tabs to date, but then this season we got nothing.
It's like, hey, Rasputin took control of all the bunkers now he's a super weapon. Charge him up, Guardian. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, what I just want the lore to kind of be there. So people like TJ, who don't really care for the lore, and it's like, they still know about it. And it's like, oh yeah, I know that. It said it in that one mission.
Another cool thing that I've said before, and I know this would, take up not only actors' time and it would be more expensive, but like the Twilight Gap mission, if you like went into a lore book and that character was reading that lore to you,
I mean,
would
that would
elevate
be
it
so
so
cool.
much.
Like if you're
that would be cool, but that is a
and,
ridiculous amount of money, though.
it's
So many
voice
lore tabs
acting.
and character, like.
But I mean, if they knew about the lore tabs ahead of time when they were doing voice acting for that season or for that DLC or whatever.
Yeah, but that's
and
the
they just-
thing. Like, they would have to have Felwinter and Fellspring fully voiced,
I know, it'd
and
just
then
be
like Griffin.
cool.
It would be cool if they had the funding that like they still had from Activision. I feel like that
At least
would
just
be
like the
probably
main
doable.
characters that like Shax and like people we already know. Like
What if they just had Ghost narrate? Like what if they put more scannables in lost sectors or around the world and had Ghost narrate? I know it wouldn't be ideal,
Well, I
but
think scannables are cool.
scannables are cool.
They don't add much though.
I'm saying that they could.
yeah, they could.
I
be.
mean, some of them are really interesting though. Like you go on
Like Aldrin's ship.
and or you
the
go
mentioning Osiris right in front
or
of the Pyramidion.
the stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like
The sea monster Easter egg on Titan.
So creepy.
Yeah, I like that one. That was
so you go
a
under
good
the
one.
map and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Another thing about lore, they haven't done this in a long time, at least to this level. Back in D1, there was a mission with Praedyth voicing over. We went into the Vault of Glass.
The No Time to Explain mission.
Yeah, that
Yep, that one.
Because the Taken were taking over the vault, and then they let Praedyth speak. First of all, haven't heard from Praedyth since then.
Why would we need to?
Because his story isn't finished.
Yeah, but it doesn't tie into anything that we're worried about at the moment.
Well,
so,
at
Dude,
the
just
moment,
vibe
yes,
Neither
but
does a lot of lore.
we haven't
like what?
seen
Because so
him.
far all the lore we've gotten has tied into like Season of Dawn was about Osiris and Saint, so we got lore about Osiris and Saint. We got. What do you mean? You can't just say you weren't even there for the season.
For Garden, I felt like they could have done a little something with that.
With
What
what?
about Praedyth?
Praedyth. Yeah.
Well, no, we learned about the Kentark 3.
Well,
That's different
yeah.
because they were meant to get divinity, which is tied into the raid, and they got corrupted by the darkness and then disappeared.
Where's Kira at?
Yeah,
That's what I
that will
wanna
be
know.
when Savathun shows up.
Yeah, well, we still have to go through her to get to Savathun.
Well, yeah, of course, but we kind of have a bigger threat at the moment.
Nope, sorry.
But
Oh yeah, you're right.
Savathun is commanding the darkness. She is the darkness.
I mean, I still think it'd be really interesting to see like Savathun with a like truce, quote unquote, but both of them still have like a knife behind their back, where it's kind of like, yeah, you help me, I help you, and the darkness is like, okay, and then you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
like kind of like in real life, like Mussolini and Hitler, where they were like, they're
I
like-
was thinking
yeah,
that
where they were
exact
like,
same
where they're
thing.
Like, yeah, we're friends. Yeah.
Yeah, my point still stands. I want to hear more from Praedyth, but I want more story missions kind of like that. It's like, hey, something's happening, and then we hear from some legendary character.
As long as it ties into the season.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying like randomly, but
Yeah, because that's like the main thing. Like if you're having a season about specifically Vex, okay, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But like I get what you mean. I do. I would like to see more things like that.
more legendary characters,
T-
and have their
to-
story fleshed out.
To an extent, I still think that for some, less is more. Fellwinter is an exception. That was cool. I liked what they did with Fellwinter.
Well, they just explained his story,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
which is all I.
Which I think is
want.
kind of cool because they didn't really advertise that at all. It's just a bonus thing that we got at the
Exactly.
end of the season.
Exactly. Because if I just wish that it just was paced better. Because there
What
were
do
a
you
couple
mean by
weeks.
paced better?
Well, because it was a couple weeks where we had nothing. They just
Oh.
told us to keep it up with the public events, dude.
Well,
That was
they
it.
didn't
reason
even
they're
tell us
doing
about the lie
This
until.
is so we always
Well,
have
no, I'm fine
content.
with having things like quote unquote like surprised or surprising or whatever, except when you have people on PC that data mine it and like to ruin it for everyone else. But like, it's like I like having 1 week the Almighty showing up, having the second week. Like, why didn't Anna show up every time we cleared a bunker? She showed up like what, once or twice?
No, I don't cleared a bunker?
Yeah, like well, I mean
Well,
the
we
first
cleared
time
a bunker for the first time, yeah, she showed up every time.
she did.
There was only 3 bunkers.
I remember her talking in the first one. I remember her talking in the second one. I remember nothing about Io.
Io was the one where
We had Zavala, right?
Zavala and Anna and Rasputin talked to us.
Well, no, Anna wasn't there.
Oh yeah, it was just Zavala.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Anna was there. I think she was down in the over the glass, if I remember correctly.
I don't
think she
remember.
was
I
just
didn't.
in
I
the
didn't
same
look at the
room.
glass. I looked at
I don't
Zavala
remember.
and the ships.
Yeah,
But we need better.
because she started talking about like the Deep Zone Crypt and all that in the first one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they said in the second one, but then
Yeah, but
Io-
that's it. It's like we don't get anything else. I want.
Well, not
more
only
than
that, Seraph Towers would have been cool if you weren't able to just complete them in a day and then wait for the next one 3 weeks from now.
That or if the matchmaking was better, we'd actually be able to do it.
Matchmaking is a huge problem in all
Well,
of
matchmaking
Destiny
in
right now.
patrol sections should be, if you're gonna come up with public events like that. I mean, we've had them since Escalation.
and they've already addressed
Alright,
it
look.
with stuff like the Black Armory forges.
You don't have good matchmaking in PvP. How do you expect it to be good matchmaking in PvE?
At least
He's
making
got a
it
point.
6 people for patrols, because you could just add the same. Like, what's the max amount of people to be in one spot at a time? 9?
Yeah. So
Make it 12. What's the problem?
I don't know if we can just make demands like that.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
what goes into
Just
that.
load up Vault of Glass and do and just go to patrol and Vault of Glass.
No, I mean, like,
got a
if
point.
well, if you're gonna make things, I mean, yeah, like just do what they did for Black Armory, where you just
They
go
was-
up to
yeah.
it and then hold X, and then it match makes you with people who are also doing it, and then you do it. Instead of going, yeah, here's a public event, we're gonna make it hard enough so you need at least 6 or 9 people. You just gotta wait for people to be around. And what if you're like up late one night, and that isn't the case? And it's like, okay, well,
Well, that's when
That's
you
cool.
find players from other countries, like how we beat Escalation Protocol the first time.
valid. That is true. But
was
we
like
shouldn't have to do that.
Boy the hacker from Germany.
though. Yeah.
Why do I remember that?
Why
Do
do
you
you
speak
remember
up?
Because that was the good old days.
the good old days?
We also had Richard McGowan. Remember the Irish guy? Richard McGowan. You know that I play in that Escalation Protocol? Yeah,
I
that
do
guy.
remember that.
Yeah, that
I
good
still
guy.
don't have the Ikelos SMG.
I still don't have like.
Well,
Can't be a
it's
Wayfarer.
nothing special.
I don't have the SMG
not
or the
that bad.
sniper.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you can't be a Wayfarer?
Yeah, I can't be a Wayfarer.
But I also
Ooh,
feel like.
unfortunate, dude. I'm the only Wayfarer?
Uh-huh.
But I also feel like
still
it
need
could
the
be
mod.
paced. Another way to
Mr.
pace
PD.
it a lot better is to make the season pass loot worth it, because
What do
we
you mean
have.
worth it?
Well,
yeah.
you
Well,
have-
this is what I was going to get into is most of our season pass is armor. As soon as you get the season pass, the first node, you get every single piece of armor.
That is true.
So every other time you get armor, it's basically I
just a
want to
light
say
increase, really.
not only is it you could use it for as light increase, the last ones besides the ornaments at the end, the last few are the highest stat pieces of that armor.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the beginning you'll get like 50s, but by the end you're getting armors that are stat pieces of like 70.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Other than that, this season in particular, there was no really reason to grind the season pass.
No.
Other for like the last emote, the Sparrow was eh.
The ship. I think there was also a ship too.
I
that
think
was
some
kinda
of
cool.
the bonuses that they
Yeah.
give you, not the actual items, but like
the ones on the bottom.
yeah, the stat bonuses, I think those sometimes can be worth it.
Those
Yeah.
yeah, but that's the only reason those bonuses are there is so you can help get that season pass
Yeah,
done
because they're
faster.
mostly XP
Yeah.
bonuses.
Because it's mostly
Yeah,
XP
which is
bonuses.
fine. But also the loot too, the loot pool that we have with the Eververse engrams,
Which
are-
is because the engrams are also in the season pass. But if there's nothing worth it in
you're not
those
getting
engrams,
current season loot. You're getting past season loot.
for us veteran players, we pretty much have a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
For new players, it's nice. I'm sure there's no problem for them at all.
yeah, but that's another thing like catering to just newer players rather than
Exactly,
the people
and
who have
even
been loyal since
there's
day one.
like what 4 or 5 exotic engrams throughout there,
Yeah.
and it's not that hard.
Like, if that's the case, like, I mean, every now and then it's nice because I want to say it was either last season's Eververse engram that we got or this season's that I didn't have an emote. And I was like, oh, okay, I can try and get it. That's kind of cool. But, like, if it was current season stuff, like the Eververse armor, way back when we used to get that stuff, and we were able to get it from engrams instead of it just being bright dust only or silver, I think that would make me aim for it more, because the season pass, aside from having planetary materials and glimmer and then the armor pieces and then legendary engrams, sometimes an exotic, if you make those Eververse engrams worth it, that'll make you want to play more, which makes you do activities more, which gets people more invested, which means that you can throw in things like the Lie or things like the pyramid ships and Zavala and all that stuff, and people will actually be there and like be really interested, because people get bored because there's nothing to aim for. We get like 2 new things, and one of them you have to spend either real money on or earn bright dust for. That's not that exciting, is it? No, not really, because you're doing bounties to get the stuff to earn the armor. It'd be cool if you have a cute little RNG engram like we used to get, like current season stuff from Eververse in that engram, rather than previous seasons.
That reminds me of the Moment of Triumph engram
What, from
Destiny 1. Remember how
Yeah,
at the
where-
end of Destiny 1 they were like, hey,
Oh.
everything in the game, including all the new stuff from Triumph, it's just in this engram. There's like,
What was
Yeah, that would-
Well, I think that's
Well,
how
that'd
it
be
should. I
cool,
think there
too.
should be a yearly event that does that, kind of like how Overwatch does with their anniversary event. How you can get past event stuff, and you could just straight up buy it
yeah.
Exactly. I don't.
instead of having this recurring. Because like I remember I sent you guys a picture of how those engrams have changed over time and how cool they used to look, and now
Well, it's
they're
not
all
even
just
the look
a
I
different.
care about. It's the loot.
Well,
that's
yeah, I
inside
know,
them.
but that's why they're changed. That's why they're not special anymore, because it's just past
That's
stuff
the
that
problem.
we've
And
already
if
have.
you're a veteran player, you spend $10 to get loot that you've already got. I'm sick of the whole
Because
like.
not only are they filled with stuff that we already have, but they nerfed how to get them. You used to get them every time you leveled up. And you used to get a buff at the beginning of every week where your first 3 levels,
Well rested.
well rested. Yeah.
And then we also had the ghost shell for Leviathan
that, I believe-
gave you engrams, chance to give you bright
Yeah.
engrams.
And then I believe that you got well rested on all 3 of your characters too, didn't you?
Yeah, you still do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 5 levels now instead of like.
Well, yeah, but you don't get an engram out of it anymore.
Unless like every 5 levels is an engram. I don't remember how
I think it
they're
is.
structured.
Yeah, every 5 levels.
So okay, so you get 1 instead of 3. Yay. I'm so sick. It's like it seems like Bungie is afraid of people missing out on things, and that's what's hindering them
They've
from making
also
newer things.
addressed fear of missing out on stuff too.
I
Yeah, 'cause
get
that was a
Which
big
is
issue.
that's how they're.
Well, I could get
that's
that
how they're
kind
gonna
of,
introduce that. So they're coming out with a new season-old bounty that's not really going to expire. It's just going to stay there until you complete it, or I'm assuming discard it.
Well, yeah,
Where it's going
well-
to give a big boost to season stuff.
yeah, that's cool.
That's
That's fine. But in terms of like the Eververse engrams, bring them back like in the Bright Dust store. Like, hey, like have a whole section.
It should
where
be
it's like,
one
and in
engram
case
that's
you-
called something else, and it should refresh every season with another
don't
engram
even-
that's just new stuff.
But they don't even have to do an engram though. Every season they could have a section
Last
in the
season's stuff.
Eververse section that is like things you've missed. And this season it's going to be covering, for example, the season what was it? Revelry. Like that event where it had like all the or not Revelry,
So will that refresh every season?
like Joker's Wild. Yeah. So like you'd have a Bright Dust section, and this is all the stuff from Joker's Wild. Then the next season is
I
this is
still
all the
think
stuff
it should
from
be
Opulence.
refreshed if they were to do something like that sooner.
Let's.
They go down each season and be like every other 2 weeks or so.
Or
And
just
was
have
like,
it all as a bright...
This season's stuff. Joker's Wild.
You mean like a
Opulence.
collections tab?
Yeah.
And then being able
and
to
it
buy
just
previous
rotated
season
on
stuff.
a store like any of
that's-
these other
that's-
games, like Fortnite, or how their store passes by. Maybe not every day, but maybe like once a week.
Yeah, I mean, even in the collections tab, because it already happened. Like, all right, and it's Eververse stuff. It's not like crazy like raid gear. Like, oh hey, since you missed out on Last Wish and it's not relevant anymore, you could just buy the whole armor set and all the weapons. That's not what it is. It's just cosmetic stuff. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
To just have a whole
But there's
collections tab
also
for it.
it also comes out to the point where people like having. There's like, oh, you can only get this time.
Well, yes, still have some things like that, but the basic, like, garbage legendary ships and sparrows and shaders, like, come on.
I never did get that. You have like exotic sparrows that go 160, and then they make all the legendaries go at like 140 or 150. Like, why would I ever use that?
If you make... Okay, if you were
They should
to...
all be
Fun
the
fact:
same
you go
speed.
into collections and just re-roll them until you get 160.
If you get...
Really?
Yeah,
That's
you,
a thing?
yeah,
I
you
didn't
can-
know that,
you can do
cheese.
that. Yeah.
What?
I thought TJ
Um,
was the one who told me that, but I guess.
But,
Oh.
No, I think I was the one.
I always just
Probably.
use legend exotic
Well, that seems
sparrows
strange to
anyway.
me.
But the thing, I mean, if that's the case, make a whole collections tab for all the legendary stuff from previous Eververse seasons. And then all the exotic stuff, yeah, if you weren't around for that time, sorry, dude. Can't get it. Because it stands, exotics are meant to stand out. You, like, I don't understand, like, why can't you do that?
Let's be fair, they did. I'm pretty sure they said they got rid of their engrams because of the whole loot box thing. Because even though Overwatch does it, I think just everyone gives a pass on Overwatch, but they just wanted it not... Because it is still gambling. Because you can't buy it directly unless it's silver.
By what? Unless it's silver.
Like engrams.
No,
well,
you
it's
can't even buy
specific
them anymore.
items. Specific items.
Yeah, wait, what are you getting at?
Like they...
Because I was... We were saying put engrams with new Eververse stuff in the season pass that, you paid
Oh,
for.
okay.
And then...
I thought you were talking about bring the engrams
No,
back.
no. I'm saying... All I'm saying is bring engrams back that gives us new stuff from that season just in the season pass. I'm not saying, like, put them back in the Eververse store.
Yeah.
Because, if you put all the legendary stuff from previous seasons, right? And it's like, oh, hey, like, a whole collections tab of all the legendaries, and it's all Bright Dust. Because, I mean, if you're increasing the amount of Bright Dust gain, which you are, then, okay, have a whole collection of legendary stuff you've missed out on, and then call it a day. And like I said, and still have the new legendary stuff and new exotic stuff in the engram for that season that you spent $10 on, and then the exotics are exclusive to that season. And I don't mean like exotic weapons, although even that, I mean, I guess maybe, but like I mean exotic ships and sparrows. So like, for example, if like back in Forsaken, when we got the Ghost Rider Sparrow, where it was the chopper on fire, if that was, or it wasn't the Eververse season. So in the Eververse season, right? Say you can't get it anymore. Like you had to be there to get the cool exotic stuff, but since you weren't there, here's a whole tab with all the legendaries from that season. So like who knows, you might find something that you like. And I know that they're eliminating legendary ornaments, which is great. That's another thing to aim for when we're able to. They're eliminating legendary ornaments in Eververse and having them earnable in activities. That's cool. That gives us something to aim for. Because that's like one of the main problems too, is that once again we have nothing to aim for at the moment, and that's a serious problem because some of the things too also aren't memorable. I mean, some of the armor that we've gotten they feel lazy. Like I say this all the time.
Most
like,
of Destiny 2's armor has just been reskins.
True, and even the new stuff is lazy. This current season that we're in,
Yes.
the Titan chest piece ornament has ammo pouches, right? On the front. It makes sense. On the back, though, it's ammo pouch, ammo pouch, ammo pouch, ammo pouch, ammo pouch, all on the back.
Really?
And not the front. It literally looks like they went,
Copy and paste.
copy and pasted. And it looks lazy. It's a skin-tight chest piece with, 90 ammo pouches where my Guardian can't reach them.
I wonder
Let me
if...
go reload, and you have to lean behind, give yourself a friggin'
I
scratch your
wonder
back.
if armor and weapons, which should be the most integral part of the game, are falling wayside because they're only charging $10 a season and they don't have Activision anymore.
For a game that's borderline looter shooter,
yeah.
you would think so.
At least make if that's the case, then lower the loot pool, but make the loot pool memorable.
Or just charge. I would not mind paying $25 a season.
A season?
Well, because that's like 3 months. That's like a $25 subscription every
If
3
they
months.
if they actually
isn't that kind of what we were doing?
if they
Well,
actually
anyway?
filled
If
the
it was-
seasons with
yeah, but
more
we got
stuff and it
content.
actually
Yeah, if we
enabled
got,
them
like-
to do more,
If seasons
I
felt like
wouldn't mind.
expansions,
if they were all like opulence, I would feel a little bit better. I mean, 25 maybe like 20.
How much was Rise of Iron?
30. But Rise of Iron.
he's
25
just
for a
shaking his head.
season?
Rise of Iron was also kind of small too.
Look,
Yeah,
my
but like compared to
my number
some of
is
these
just
seasons,
a number. That's all it is. But-
I get what you mean by like raising the price. You know,
I'm saying
giving more,
I wouldn't mind a slight increase in the price as long as it followed with a big jump in quality.
Yeah, that makes sense, like a quality
if
over
we-
quantity type thing. Maybe if we had the seasons longer too.
Yeah.
if we
if it
paid
was-
double.
If it was, if we did pay $20 a season, that season would have to last a while, but that would also tie into the whole giving us more content to aim for.
Yeah.
Like if we had a season of opulence type thing and had it for like 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and a season was a really long thing, but it would be worth it because it would be you'd have a lot of loot to aim for. But I don't know if Bungie would really like doing that, and I feel like people would eventually get, I don't know, bored. But then again, if they
They
wouldn't,
are now.
They wouldn't get bored if we had a bunch of content. 'Cause
I just realized-
I wasn't bored during opulence.
I
At
just
all.
realized that Black Armory and Rise of Iron are kind of very similar in the amount of content we got. We
Yeah.
had a little bit of story, and we had an activity. There was forges, and for Rise of Iron,
It was Archon's Forge.
Yep, Archon's Forge.
Archon's
runs.
Forge,
Forge.
and then there was a raid, and we had a small, basically the same size raid in
And it was
Black
fallen,
Armory
too.
as, we did in Rise of Iron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the only change
And Rise of
is-
Iron, and we got this for substantially cheaper
Yeah,
for Black Army. We got it for how much? It's $10
Well,
a season, right?
Let's
I bought the thing as soon as Shadowkeep they announced it, and it was like get the next 3 seasons for whatever, and I got that. So I don't know
Yeah.
how much per
per season's
Well,
10.
Let's-
season.
let's be fair. In Rise of Iron, they gave us a whole new social area and
Oh, that's
and
true.
story missions.
Even though there were
Mission-
only 3
I mean,
Yeah, but
a
like
social space
there's
and
more
a
than
whole
3.
new
It was
map
like 5.
area.
in Rise of Iron.
Yeah, how much is
It was
there's more than you think there are.
Yeah.
not counting the Sepix strike, because the strike was a
not
mission.
counting. Well,
Speaking of
there was-
strikes,
Oh yeah, what happened
Oh
to
my-
strikes?
That's another
you know,
thing,
I
too.
once complained about story missions being strikes, but now that I'm not even getting any strikes,
Like, yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take the fucking story missions.
Hostile
or
Doom was a
any
good
other
strike too.
Or any other reason to do strikes besides your
well,
+1.
that is they did address
I-
that because they were like they were
Okay.
putting
Because like in
certain
D1,
ornaments
when
behind
strikes in D1 were just better off in general. Like
Yes.
even
because
when
they
there was
weren't
nothing
story
to do,
missions.
even when there was nothing to do, they were fun to. They were just fun to do. They
Well,
were
'cause
just fun strikes.
they were unique
You
from
can
the
use-
and
story.
you actually
though.
had dialogue at the beginning of every strike.
Well, people complained about having dialogue every time you
I
were in
liked
orbit.
it.
I don't know. I don't like the silence now.
Whether we wanted it or not.
Yeah,
Stepped
memes
into a
came
war
out.
with the Cabal on Mars.
Yeah,
But
some of the
let's-
in terms of strikes though, that's because the community
I-
didn't want to hear the phrase every time they loaded into
Well,
orbit.
yeah,
which
but
makes
maybe
no
like a
sense to me.
first time.
Turn
I don't
around.
know.
Okay,
But even in D1, we had dragon strikes where they introduced certain weapons, like what
Or-
was that pulse rifle, that 2-tap when it came out, and they put it into strikes.
Wrath
Oh.
of Malik?
Oh,
No.
What are you talking about?
no, it was the one from the
Oh, I know
from
what
the
you're
Cabal
talking
one, wasn't
about.
it?
You talking about the scout
It's not a
rifle?
strike specific he's talking about.
It's not a strike specific.
Hopscotch Pilgrim?
Hopscotch
Yes.
Pilgrim. That's what it was.
What's wrong with
Well,
Scotch Pilgrim, guys?
Why don't we talk about
Dragon
how
strikes.
they could easily just throw in actually cool and worth it strike specific loot like
mean,
we used to
that-
get?
And don't tie it to Nightfall.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
I think they you know how we always made a joke about Crota was basically a strike? I think they took that to heart when they made the Hosh Ladoon strike, because Hosh Ladoon, Crota's sister, and we don't know anything about her.
She's kind of there, vibing.
Yeah, we didn't know Crota
She's
had
dead.
a sister. Well, no, we knew the dead
You mean
sisters.
daughter. Is Crota's daughter.
Oh, it's Crota's daughter.
Hashla Dune is Crota's daughter.
Well, still.
And she's the one that built Scarlet Keep.
Well, still.
Ooh, you're getting lore schooled, baby.
Ooh.
That was something that.
Well,
I'm
that
pretty sure
should
they
say
said.
something. That there's nothing about her. We barely know anything about her. She just came
Because
out
she's
of
dead.
We don't need to know anything about
She
her.
came out
She's
of nowhere.
gone.
But she's Crota's daughter.
I don't really.
Food chain, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, killing everyone's sons and daughters.
She
and
was
fathers
mad
and
at us
mothers
for
and-
killing her dad, so she built a Scarlet Keep.
Yeah, but we only found out about her in the strike, and then she wasn't talked about anywhere else.
Okay.
Because neither was Crota. I get what you're saying. Like it seems like it's a throwaway character, but I think it was really more
I
just
mean, a lore
fan
tab
service
would
to.
have been cool. Like her
Oh,
own
tab
book.
would have been cool.
Well,
you're
if we
right.
had strike-specific loot that had more about the boss we fought.
That being said, I wouldn't
That would
want
be
the
cool.
lore tab just fucking play the strike and get a.
Still
Yeah,
trying to get
because-
my.
Even with Crota, we had the Hand of Crota and all the other of Crotas, and then the story of
I don't
Eris's
think it's
fire
the
team.
bosses that, like, knowing about
That would
bosses
be cool
that is the
too, because
problem.
if we had strike specific loot, like he said, or like you were saying, then they could introduce lore into those too. So like,
Yeah.
if we had a strike specific loot for, the Hashla Dune strike, and then we could read up more on that, kind of like, Grasp Malik
Yeah.
But
and the whatever the helmet was
Alakul's
called.
helmet
Yeah.
but all I'm saying,
and
the
the Tanix cloak.
line of
Well, Malik had a helmet too,
Tanix
didn't he?
cloak.
No, they had the Malik helmet was for
Hood of
hunters,
Malak.
wasn't it?
It's for hunters.
Yeah,
Yes.
you-
You know,
yeah,
that's
that-
another thing, Bungie. Why you keep making cloaks shorter?
What's going on with that?
What's up with that? And what's up with the camel toe on my boots?
I thought we got rid of
Please.
those.
Why are the cloaks
No,
ripped?
they're
Who
still
wants a
around.
ripped cloak?
Oh.
They're still around, Brennan. Trust me.
I wouldn't
wish they were
mind
gone.
some ripped cloaks, but you know what? I want something
What up
long,
with
regal,
class life?
drapey.
Please.
I don't like Bonds as a warlock. I want something a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
Your bonds
I can't
used to
speak
look
to that.
cool.
Hey man,
Yeah,
there's like
and now they're just
the only good
arm
bonds are the
bracelets.
holographic ones,
Yeah, but
or that
yeah,
one
you guys
exotic
have
one.
You guys kind of have a cool
D1.
one this season, like the glowing yellow on it.
about-
I thought it looked cool.
It's
How about you bring
alright.
exotic
class
items back?
How about factions?
Whoa.
faction.
What if
What was that?
That's
A
the thing.
faction alarm?
If they had factions just in general, do you know how much value replay value you added?
The only reason I still played D1 was factions. I just loved seeing that number go up and farming.
Exactly.
rolls
Sorry
on
guys,
amount
it's
of
gone the way of
weapons.
trials. It's gonna leave for a couple years and then come back worse than ever.
Yes.
Or this? Oh well, I would say.
But
they stay
it's
the
so
same.
simple. All they just need to do is add it. Like, they need to focus some resources on it.
Well, they
'Cause
said that
that
they
eliminates-
don't want to do it how they did in D1.
Why?
But it was so
Because,
much.
I don't know.
It was
'Cause-
good.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
But they
just-
also don't want faction rallies, which no one does.
Well, yeah, nobody wants faction rally, but just bring them back as a passive faction. You can casually just re
That
up
you
the
go and buy a boon, so all of your XP goes towards that faction as
or
well.
if since they're refixing bounties and they're doing the whole you have it until you complete it. If factions had those and it gave you a bunch of standing for them, like if you had this lifetime new monarchy
if they give
bounty.
us an exotic class item, we could use that as long as that item is equipped. You gain XP towards that faction, but also make it armor 2.0, where you can put any ornament on it if you didn't like. The
and it
look
would
of
work too because exotics won't be retired.
All right,
no
hear me
matter
out. What if faction rallies was just that they release exotic catalysts only for specific factions, and then you only have to go to lost sectors, the worst part of the game, and grind it out for thousands and thousands of lost sectors just to get the Graviton Lance catalyst? Because that's what I did.
That sounds like
guys, he's on to something.
I like what you did.
Oh, I did it. I got my
That was
Graviton
the-
Lance catalyst.
Man, imagine
I hated every
doing it
second.
that
That was
way.
the mistake of that, because I think faction rallies could have been fine. Oh, a nice competitive little thing that happens every month or so, but they put exotic catalyst at the end of it, so we already
Which
knew
for a long time
who
those
was going
catalysts
to
were locked
win.
out of the game.
Well, another thing too was it was incredibly biased. They took one of the most meta weapons of the time and put
Yeah.
it behind a faction, and automatically
Graviton
Dead
Lance,
Orbit was going to win. There was no
Sunshot,
contest.
and then
Sweet business.
Sweet business.
Yep.
And we already knew. Oh, this one's gonna win. This one's
Yeah.
gonna. Yeah, we already knew everything.
Um,
It didn't matter
With-
what the guns were.
with all these things being said, though,
vendor resets.
I mean, well, yeah, we know we're getting
getting
those
that.
every year, though. That being said, though, to kind of put a little bit of, hope into, people's minds.
Hope for the future, Paul McCartney.
Yes, exactly. They are adding a lot of quality of life improvements between this upcoming season and the fall expansion. They made a bunch of this week, a bunch of TWABs that were explaining, bright dust and weapon changes and sunsetting and all that stuff. It really seems like they are trying to rebuild the favor of their fan base, so that way we can get back to the Destiny that we know and love. And I'm not going to be one of those people who still rags on them like while they're talking about it. Like some people for the most recent TWAB. And for those of you who don't know what we're saying by TWAB, it's
This
at
week
Bungie.
at Bungie.
They said, we told you guys everything we are working on. We're now going to divert our attention to actually developing those things. And then people got mad at them for doing that.
Yeah, the last one they said.
Yeah.
Well, the last one was also by D, which he hadn't done in a while. I mean, he's had-
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they were like, look,
We have the best community ever, and you check the comments. It's like, game dead, Bungie bad. This sucks.
Alright, look, I'm gonna say it. Destiny won't be good until Datto gets world first on the next three.
He's got a point. If Dado doesn't get it, we don't buy it.
But like, I do want to still support them, and I still do. They have made bad decisions, and we've all been there for the good, the really bad, the really good. Like, we've been just on this whole roller coaster ride, and I hope that with all of the quality of life improvements that they are talking about, and the fact that we're going to be able to earn 3 ornaments. Wasn't it 3 they said? Or was it like a couple ornaments
no,
for...
the 3 ornaments.
Yeah,
For
so
each,
for each weapon that
activity.
they came out with each season. They're not every single weapon, but like the weapon of that season per se.
Weapon of that season would be
And
3
the-
different.
That you 100% earn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff like that, and then rechanging the bright dust economy so that way solo players who only use one character and actually, get stuff. Is wonderful. It does seem like they're going the right direction, and if all these things are put in the game, not only does that extend replayability, but it also puts, people are happy, and then while they are focused, while the players are focused on these, quality of life improvements, that gives you guys time to actually work on content. So, we'll actually have things to aim for, and that'll keep us occupied while you work on something bigger. That's the problem with some of these seasons, is that we don't have anything to occupy us, so we look at them for answers while they're trying to develop something, and then they feel like they have to go out and explain, we kind of half-assed this. Sorry, we'll fix it.
Quick question for everyone here, though. Would you rather this or them giving us all the content at once and massive content drop for 3 to 4 months?
I would rather play Destiny 2 on Google Stadia than have to suffer through another content drive. Yeah, you heard me.
I vastly prefer the expansions. Because I have all my stuff to do at the beginning. Sure, there'll be a drought, but guess what?
I do games.
I can play other games in that time, waiting
Oh,
for the
you
next batch of
Beat
content.
Dark Souls 3 for the 15th time?
Yes? What else would I do?
The best way.
Sorry,
But
beat
that's
the
what
other
I'm
Dark
saying.
Souls.
If they trickle feed it the right way, it won't feel like we're bored every other week.
Yeah.
But they also have to have content to trickle
That's
feed.
what I'm saying. If they give us,
But I mean, I
us
feel
the
like
right
this
content,
is the first season we run into that was like the trickle feeding was just
Not enough.
dog shit.
Yes,
like-
honestly, yeah. Because
I
Dawn.
mean, I got really bored towards the end of the Shadowkeep season.
Well,
Season
that
of
was
the
because
Drifter wasn't
because
good
Vex Offensive was kind of a letdown.
Oh yeah, Vex Offensive was horrible.
Yeah, and to be fair, we also didn't have a team to do raid So that kind of just eliminated an entire activity for us. So there was
because
that.
raid was like very powerful at that time.
Yeah, I mean it still is now, but like even playing it now, I wish we played it back then, like because we would have actually
Hey,
had
man,
something to do.
I've been saying that.
Where are my raid exclusive perks?
That actually they.
That's
Where are my fixed rolls on raid weapons so they're always good?
I do think fixed rolls on raid weapons makes absolute sense. We do have raid perks now.
Yeah.
Like we have had them for a little bit.
Like
and
the really good perk now.
Garden is the one that Garden's perks were the ones that introduced actually effective ones that made a difference. Like Relay Defender
Well,
absolutely
those are
determines
just
when they're not
mods,
here.
but yeah.
Well, yeah, but mods are perks.
But-
they,
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
still
whoa!
not on
I'm sorry.
weapons.
Mods are mods and perks are perks.
They are
You can
different.
get perks from mods, but
Yeah.
mods are mods.
But that's
and
only
perks
for
are
armor.
perks.
You can't get that for weapons.
Well, yeah,
For what? Yeah.
if they
Because like for Vault of Glass, everything had Oracle Disruptor, or for Crota,
yeah, if they all had
the
intrinsic
shotgun
raid
had,
perks, that would be
Yes.
interesting.
the shotgun did more damage to knights and sword bearers. The Abyss Defiant, the auto rifle, disrupted Hive wizards.
Yeah.
The Praetor's Revenge did damage to oracles.
Well, yeah, all of them did
Well, that's why I
damage
said
to
Oracle
oracles.
Disruptor.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So if
Stuff
we
like
had-
that, just small things that gave it small boost in raid, or the remember the armor in King's Fall, where it was like when you were going.
I think you
Oh.
ran faster.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
that
with
thing.
ran faster
Yeah, with
when
the
you were
orb.
going
Into
when you went
Ascendant.
taken Ascendant. Yeah,
Yeah, like when you were
going
yeah.
through the Ascendant realm and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
And I
was
know,
always that
like,
person.
I mean, Last Wish kind of had, like, the whole Transcendent Blessing, where
Yeah.
you got, like, double damage.
Well, they're kind of doing the same thing with like Relay Defender, with the Relay Defender mods for this. It's what it closely reminds me to.
Yeah. But in conclusion, I do hope that they remain true to their word, because if that is the case, it does seem like we're going into a much better place for Destiny, because I still love the game to death, and I don't want to lose interest in it any more than we already have multiple times over its lifespan. Because, I mean, we all know that Bungie is capable of making really awesome things. In the Destiny universe, especially, like, we've had really cool moments.
Just read the lore.
Well, aside from reading lore, like
Not the lore.
the lore is great. I love the lore. It's incredibly descriptive. I just wish it was, for the people who don't want to read the lore, it was displayed more visually.
Yeah.
Because there are moments in the lore that I'd be like, wow, like that's really cool, and I'd love to see like a cutscene of that.
Praetors.
Like Twilight Gap
Yeah.
would be really cool to see.
More
in-
missions like that, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Or Fellwinters felt like.
And like I said, with all of the quality and life improvements that we're getting, that tides us over. So you have enough leeway, enough things to occupy us to actually produce, some really awesome content. And, I really hope that actually has lived up to the hype or whatever that Bungie is kind of throwing at us. So hopefully they are true to their word, and we can go back to enjoying the game that we love. So yeah,
That'd be nice.
it would be nice.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We have a bunch of other videos on the channel as well, if you guys are interested. But as always, thank you very much for the view anyway. Hope you guys all have a good day and keep on playing Destiny. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.